But if you hear some noise, we'll just mute them. So. All right. Thanks, Paige.
I appreciate it. Hi, I'm Paige. As he mentioned, I came in from Atlanta this morning. So I'm really excited to be with you guys today and teach this class. I've named it Marketing Made Easy. My goal is to provide you guys with some marketing tips that you can implement into your business today. But as we're going through this, because it is 60 slides, it's about 50 slides. We've got about 60 minutes. So about slide a minute. But as I'm going through, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to stop me and we'll go through them as we're going through the slides. So as I mentioned, my name's Paige. Oops, there we go. I'm from Atlanta. A little bio about me. So I am a third generation realtor. My grandmother, my aunt, my cousins, they're all in real estate. So in my family, if you're not an engineer, you're a realtor. I told my parents, I'm going to school, I'm going to be an elementary school teacher. I'm so excited, I'm going to teach kindergarten. My mom was like, yeah, you should spend your $500, go take your real estate class. I'm like, no guys, I'm going to be a teacher, it's going to be great. So I got to my apprenticeship and I am doing this kindergarten class. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, how am I going to tell my mom I just spent $500 at my lunch break and I signed up for my real estate class. I'm not going to be a kindergarten teacher. So when I got started, I was 22 years old after I passed my real estate exam and got into the business. Again, being in my 6th year now, all of my friends are millennials and first-time home buyers, and no one wanted to buy at 20, 21, 22 years old. No one could. So I had to figure out how am I going to market to these people and show them that I am credible, I'm reliable, and I'm a professional in my field. I'm not even old enough to rent a car yet, but I can tell you your largest asset. I did a lot of that through marketing. So I'm going to show you guys today some of the things that I do in market for my clients. My price point is about $375, but in Atlanta, we go anywhere from 200 to about 2-3 million. So for me, my motto for my business is creating a luxury experience at every price point. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're buying a $200,000 house, or you're a 20th time home buyer and you're buying a $2 million house, you're getting the same exact experience from me. When I do my client appreciation nights, my top buy event, you're getting the same stuff, whether you're 200 or 2 million. All right. So in the news, I find this really interesting. In the news states that only 17% of buyers and sellers in America are going to use the same agent twice. And so a lot of people say, oh, I'm going to be a realtor for life. If you need anything, I'm a realtor for life. I'm a realtor for life. They throw this out there, and then they never talk to that person again. And they just expect that they're going to remember who they are, and they're going to call them back up. So about 7 years is how long someone's going to stay in the house before they move again. So in that 7-year process, that's a long time to remember somebody's name. You might remember, oh my God, I had such a good experience with Paige. But what has Paige done for me in the past 7 years to keep in touch, right? So to keep in touch, what separates good marketing from great marketing is the willingness to take risks and push the envelope. Everything I'm showing you today, I learned through trial and error and failing forward. So some of the stuff I pushed out at the beginning of my business is not very good. Now we've really buttoned it up. Like I said, trying to provide that luxury experience and elevate my business. So today for a class overview, what I'm going to be teaching you is strategies to win and retain that business. So you guys become that 17% and they're going to remember to call you. So they're going to remember, oh, I know Paige. She was great. She talked to me yesterday. Oh, I know Paige. She sent me a Christmas card. Okay. So we're going to be going over developing a brand, finding sellers, marketing to buyers, marketing a listing to obtain additional business, as well as the 3 P's of real estate, which I love. We're going to talk about buyers and sellers, the contract to close process. What are you going to do to make that really special so that when your friends are talking to their friends about, oh, I'm working with Paige and she's doing this and that for me now that we're under contract, I want them to say, wow, my realtor didn't do any of that. Wow, that's a really special person. I'm thinking about selling my home. I think I want to use that. Past clients, marketing with a purpose, your sphere of influence, pop buys, how to leverage those to make sure that you guys are obtaining that business and retaining that business. Client appreciation events, video marketing and YouTube, as well as Instagram, and then some tools and resources that you can implement. Any questions? Okay. So developing your brand, your goal should be to tell a story. So I do my storytelling through colors, fonts, a slogan, or a business mantra, as well as logo design and finding that niche or that specialty. So for my colors, again, starting at 22, I was like, oh, pink, that's great. build and try to develop. So now we are golds, blacks, grays, whites, things that are going to give us a more mature brand. Our fonts are going to be something that's very clearly easy to read, as well as something that's noticeable, something that they can read from far away. A slogan or a business mantra. For me, my slogan or business mantra, as I've stated, is developing or providing a luxury experience at every price point. I have that everywhere. And sometimes I have to remind myself, it's not my big why, but it kind of is. And when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm showing this person the 100th house. Are they ever going to buy? Okay, I'm going to provide this person a luxury experience. I'm going to show up on time and be happy to be there. And then a logo design. So I hired someone to do my logo. I did my first logo and it looked like shit. So I was like, make yourself word. I can do that. No, y'all should hire someone to do your logo. And then a niche or specialty. My niche or specialty again is providing a luxury experience. So if I'm at 200 or if I'm at 2 million, it's the same thing. Okay, so this is some of my stuff that I use. On the far left, what you're going to see is my guide to buying and selling. It's got those colors, it's got those fonts that I mentioned. Everything should have a uniform print. So if my business card doesn't look like my buyer seller book or look like my website, then I haven't developed my brand far enough. And I should sit down and identify what colors do I want, what fonts do I want, what logos do I want, make sure that I'm using them through everything. At the bottom is going to be what I have as my email signature. Again, it looks like everything else. It's got my logo, which is on the left. I've got two versions of my logo. I've got a circle one that's super easy. I can stamp it on anything with my letterhead. And I've got this one that I can put on something if I've got a pot pie or a gift that I'm giving to someone. This is a screenshot of my website. You'll notice it's got the same colors and the same fonts. And this is it's a snippet from my bio that's in my guide to selling or my guide to buying. Any questions on developing your brand? Okay.
Who does all your printing?
So I printed in the office.
You do?
And then we've got them fighting good fights. If you talk to Aubrey, tell them we need a hardback unibinder. They have a hardback unibinder. It's incredible. It's literally a hardback book that has glue in the binding. You take your pages, you print them off in the office, you put it in the unibinder, and you stick it in the machine. It melts the glue to the paper, and then you put it in the second part. It presses everything together and makes your presentation a hardback book. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If you're going to a presentation, there are more agents than there are houses to sell right now. So if you are going to a listing presentation and they're interviewing 5 other agents, which I was in a competitive situation. Literally, I was the first agent in, and as I was leaving a listing presentation, another agent was walking in. I was like, bye, good luck. And I was like, oh, all right. When I was sitting at the table, there was somebody else's presentation there. And I looked at it and thought, mine's prettier. And it's just a way for you to come off as being a professional and make you look a little bit cleaner. Because if you hand somebody a hardback book that looks a lot better than somebody that showed up with a folder with some loose leaf papers. We also do those like spiral binding. You can do it at Office Max. A lot of offices have them in their office. That's fantastic. So I'll usually spiral bind my comps and I'll hardback my presentation. Yeah. I will try to have my listing presentation curried to my presentation before I get there. I want, when I sit down in my listing presentation, this is more like contract closed up. When I sit down at my listing presentation, I want that to be all about them, all about the numbers, all about the comps. I'm a CD on the disc. So for me, I'm really analytical, and I hope that when I show my clients the numbers, they see the value and, hey, we're trying to achieve this. And if I show up and I start talking about myself, it's kind of like when you go on a date, if the other person talks more, you feel like that was a really good date. So you want to make sure that you're talking about their goals, their needs. So building trust before you show up to that listing presentation, they're going to Google you. So if you Google yourself and there's something that comes up that's a little sketch, y'all want to take that down. If you Google yourself and you've got pictures from college and y'all are like drunk on the floor, which put that down. So ways that you can build trust and gain that credibility before you walk in the door is Zillow. And I know that Zillow is Satan, but everybody trusts it. So if the consumer goes to Zillow and the consumer's trusting Zillow, that's where we should be keeping a lot of our reviews. And that's where we should be making sure that our past sales are on there. That if we've done 40 transactions, it says that we've done 40 transactions. If we've got all these great reviews, and they're on there. It's good to have 1 or 2 on Google, but most people are going to go to Zillow. And Zillow's got such a good algorithm that when they Google you, it's going to come up with Zillow's one of your hits. So ways that you can build trust: Zillow reviews, Google reviews, and make sure that you're asking for that review. So when I leave a transaction, when I'm like sitting at the closing table and we're hug, here's your gift, and we're about to head out the door, that's when I remind them, hey, by the way, you guys are going to get a Zillow review request from me. Please make sure that you fill that out. I want 5 stars because they don't offer 6. And then I script them. Like, remember when we were in as-is deal as a stipulation, but I got you $4,000 in due diligence? Remember when I showed you 100 homes and we were really patient? Remember when we put in 50 different offers and terminated 10 deals? So let's make sure that we're mentioning some of these things to them so that you tell them exactly what you want them to say. Because sometimes if I don't script them, then I'll get a review that was like, Paige is great. I'm like, you were my hardest transaction. I wasn't great, I was fantastic. I did all this stuff, what? So make sure that you tell them, I get a lot of my business from online, please make sure you take the time to do this. After they do it, I send them a thank you card. I found these really cute cards at Target. They say, thanks a latte. It's shaped like a coffee cup. And I put a $5 gift card in it to Starbucks. Next time you grab a coffee, it's on me. Thank you so much for taking the time to write a review. If you're gonna do just Google reviews or just Realtor.com reviews or just Zillow reviews, like keep them all in one place. I would not round robin my reviews where like this one's gonna be Zillow, this one's gonna be Realtor.com, this one's gonna be Google. I would try to push everyone to the same place. So it looks like you've got 50 reviews as opposed to looking like you've got 20 here and 10 here. On Zillow, like if you're a brand new agent and maybe you haven't done a sale yet, and you're sitting in my class and you're thinking, how am I supposed to get this credibility online? How am I supposed to get a Google review or a Zillow review? On Zillow, there's an option that says, I've consulted on purchasing a property. So maybe go to your friend and do a mock listing presentation and give them their comps and see what they think about how you did. You can get their feedback, and then you can ask them to go on Zillow and write you a review. Then you can send them a thank you card and say, thanks so much. And they're going to remember, oh, my friend is actually a professional now. Like, yeah, we went to college together, but she's actually really good at her job. She actually knows what she's talking about in the market. Google Alerts, I would highly recommend you set up a Google Alert for yourself so that when somebody types your name in, if something new pops up on Google, you know about it before someone else tells you about it. And then Yelp. Y'all can actually have, because you're a business, you can have a Yelp account. And people can rate you on Yelp too. So I would recommend on these other platforms where I'm not going to do all my reviews, so if I'm doing everything on Zillow, I at least want like one on Realtor, one on Yelp, one on Google. And your website. So for your website, anywhere that you can Google. So if I go online and I Google Realtor, if it comes up with Yelp, if it comes up with your MLS, if it comes up with the website, if it comes up with LinkedIn, anywhere where you could possibly have your name, you should have your name and have a Realtor account so that you've got like 2 or 3 O's on Google. And last thing, Instagram. So people post everything on Instagram, especially millennials, especially Gen Z, some stuff that maybe you don't want your elderly clients to see. So if you are having brunch with your girlfriends, maybe don't post that on your business Instagram, because they might wonder why on a Sunday at noon you're having brunch and you're not showing your listing. I would recommend having one that's maybe a little bit more challenging to find as your personal one that you give to your friends, and one that's a business one. So for example, my business one is Paige sells ATL. It's business. I only keep super boring stuff on there. Okay. So finding sellers. So when you first get into real estate, there's 2 kinds of equity. There's stamp equity and there's sweat equity. Stamp equity is going to be anything that you spend money on to market to gain that business. Sweat equity is going to be something like door knocking. It's going to be stuff that you exhibit time to go and try to get the business. So for example, when I was first starting most of my business, so give you a little bit of background. Every single year I've doubled my business. My first year I did 30,000 in sales. My second, I made 60. My third year, I made 120. My fourth year, I made about 200. The year after that, I made about 225. This year, I'm on track for about 5. That first 2 years, I got almost all my business door knocking. And the way that I door knock isn't with a CM. I still door knock, because it's free and it's such a good idea to go door knocking and hand somebody a CMA. And if you're standing there, they're going to be a heck of a lot nicer than if you're calling them and they're on the phone, or if you're texting them and they can say whatever they want. So to door knock, I do something called the Wine Wagon. My goal is always to wow people. So I will go in the MLS. I will see who is with Keller Williams that has sold a house in a neighborhood recently. And then I will put a bunch of Whole Foods $3 check, I think it's 3 wishes, in a wagon. And I will literally, now I pay someone to wheel this wagon through the neighborhood. And I offer everyone a bottle of wine in celebration of the new sale underneath it. So my wine labels that I've printed out and I've attached to the wine bottle says there's no crime in real estate, but you can always wine. So I knock on the door and I say, hi, my name is Paige Pace. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, and I'm here in celebration of ABC Apple Street down the street that just sold. And I'm just wondering, because we do this whenever a home sells at Keller Williams, would you prefer red or white? And they're like, what? I'm like, do you want red wine or white wine? And I'm like, red. And I'm like, awesome. Well, I also have a CMA for you, which is a comparative market analysis. It's where it's got all of your comps and all of the recent sales in your neighborhood. I've actually got a ton of buyers that are looking to sell or looking to buy in this neighborhood. I was wondering who you know that might be looking to sell. Sometimes they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you, if you had to guess, who would you guess is going to be the next person to sell? Like, if you had to guess, like maybe someone that's got kids that are going to college, or maybe someone that isn't home a lot because they're with the boyfriends and they just got engaged. Who do you think might be selling? And then they're like, oh, well, now that you say that, Susan down the street, she just got married. And now I guess they have 2 houses. I'm like, oh, where does Susan live? And she'll give me the address. I'm like, oh, all right. And then I write it down. I start mailing Susan directly every 2 weeks. Susan's going to get a letter from me. Eventually, Susan's going to call me and she's going to tell me I am not interested in selling, or please come out and sell my house. Also, I have off my iPad that I bring with me. It's called the Open House app. The Open House app it's a professional app. You can get it. It's typically for open houses, but you can edit it to say whatever you want. So I have first name, last name, email, phone number, and then so like anything you want to add. And I say, hey, by the way, I do a newsletter where I give everybody these comps that I'm giving you today every month. It's more accurate than Zillow. Do you want me to add you to this list? Most people say yes, because I just gave them a full bottle of wine, and now we're sitting there talking about the dog and their kids for 5 minutes. And so they're like, oh my God, you're so great, absolutely. So I give them my iPad, they put in all their information. It has this tiny red asterisk next to it, so they can't hit continue until they fill it out completely. And then they fill it out, they give it back to me. Now I'm gonna add them to everything. I'm gonna add them to my texts that go out every month that are holiday text messages. I'm gonna add them to my email campaign. I'm gonna add them to a drip campaign and the command. They're getting everything from me, as well as a monthly CMA that I set up as a drip system in the back of MLS. So that's a really good example of sweat equity. Stamp equity, of course, is emailing the neighborhood, calling to the community. So if I'm looking to find sellers, we still do this. We still circle prospect. So you call the entire community and you pick a neighborhood and you just hammer it. And you say, hi, my name is Paige Pace. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams, and I've got a ton of buyers that are looking to purchase in your neighborhood. Or you'd be really specific. You say the Smith family, they're looking for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, and they want to buy tomorrow. But like they could wait if you're on like if you need 2 months, they could wait. But we need something fairly immediate. Do you know anyone that's looking to sell? That's been really fantastic for us, getting those people on the phone. Once I circle dial a community, I'm going to use a system called Slide Broadcast. SlideBroadcast.com will enable me to upload a voicemail, whatever I want it to say, into the system, and then it'll shoot out a voicemail to everyone in the neighborhood. So everybody wants, it'll say this call for my phone number. I can talk to them, but now they've got a voicemail from me. It's about 1 in 50 calls that I get a listing appointment, about 1 in 100 letters. Email blasting. It's important that you're doing email blasting. You can do it through command, you can do it through MailChimp, but a monthly newsletter has changed my life. When I am looking for sellers, I will sometimes go on LinkedIn and I will type in doctors Atlanta, and I will connect with every single doctor I can find in Atlanta until LinkedIn says, hey, this looks like spam, we're cutting you off. And then I go into a system called cloudql.com. And cloudql.com is going to pull all of my LinkedIn connections, their emails that I don't have access to. They have an algorithm that pulls it from the back end. Then I upload that to MailChimp, and guess who's getting my newsletter? and all of my information every single month. So I've got a ton of people that are like, hey, take me off your list. Don't know how you got this email. And then I've got other people that are like, hey, this feels like a sign from God. I've been looking to sell my house. I got an email from you today. I'm like, oh my God, how about that? Well, I can be there at 2 o'clock. Mass texting. So I've got a system called Reach. It's an app that you can download from the App Store. Reach is fantastic because it will enable you to send a text to a group of people at once. And you can edit it by adding their name to it, which is fantastic. So I've got 2 lists. I've got my friend list and I've got my client list. I put all my friends in Reach too. So if a holiday comes, I'm not like, hey, my son has something, and they're all in Reach. So it'll say, happy 4th of July, Megan. I hope you had a great day. And then I hit go. Out of the 400 people I sent happy 4th of July to, I was like, oh my God, I hope they don't know that I just sent this out in a mass text format. I got 250 responses. Of those 250, I didn't ask for business, but I got 2 listing appointments. Any questions on finding sellers? So when I'm sending out qualified buyer letters through Stamp Equity, I'm going to do, because I'm going to mail them so much, I'm going to do something that sets me apart because everyone's mailing letters right now. So the golden letter is very KW. That's where you send out this qualified buyer letter. So instead of looking to buy a house in your neighborhood, I'm not soliciting your business, but also if you need to sell, I can help you buy. Something that I'm going to do that sets me apart is going to be a wax seal stamp. I wax seal everything. People will always open it because it looks like a wedding invitation. It takes me about 2 seconds to put a wax seal on something. I go on Amazon, I buy, it looks like a glue stick, and it goes in a hot glue gun. It takes me 2 seconds to put hot glue on it and stamp it. I get so many compliments on it. Sometimes my clients will text me, I don't put a return address on anything. Sometimes my clients will text me the back of a letter before they open it and say, I wonder who this is from, because they're so used to getting my wax seals. This is actually a personal referral, not a qualified buyer letter. So if you have a great transaction with someone, maybe it's someone you haven't met before and they're just so blown away because they've been through 4 agents before you. All those 3 other agents before they got to you, they were all horrible. And then like, wow, Paige did great. She sold my house in record time. She was really considerate. I'm an SI on the scale. And she was listening to me talk about my dog and my kids for 3 hours. We cried together, we laughed together. She walked me through the whole process. I would recommend her to anyone. Instead of asking for a Zillow review, I'm going to ask for a personal letter. Like, write a letter to your neighbors and tell them I'm awesome. Email it to me and I'll mail it out on your behalf. So this one says, hi neighbor, we wanted to send you a quick note about our real estate agent, Paige Pace. As many of you may or may not know, we recently moved into the neighborhood in July when Paige assisted us in purchasing a home in Centennial Park. Prior to the beginning of our home search, we interviewed several agents, ultimately chose Paige because of her marketplace knowledge, experience, dedication, and patience. The thing that impressed us the most was her constant communication, honesty, negotiation skills, blah, blah, blah. We got $5,000, the house priced for $5,000 more than we bought it for. We got some closing costs. When we decided to buy an investment property, we chose to call Paige to have her help us again. And now we have the highest rent in that neighborhood as well. If you're thinking about selling your home, purchasing a new house, or buying an investment property, you should call Paige. We're very glad we did. Her contact information is blank. Finally, we love our home so much, and here in Woodstock, thank you so much for making a great place to live. Diane Michael, one signature. I would probably write one and send it to them as a template so that they can use that as a template as what's right for you. So if they're like, I would love to write you a letter, but I don't really know what to say, this is a great way for them to be like, oh, I feel all those things too. I would love to write a letter that's similar to that. Yeah. And then once they write it, you mail it out on their behalf to everyone in their neighborhood, including them, so that they can see that you did it. They can see what their neighbors got. So when you do that, you're typically going to get more of a response than if you were to send out a qualified buyer letter, because now it's a referral from somebody else. It's hard to shoot your own horn. It's easy for someone else to do it for you. Cool. And qualified buyer letter, simply like we stated, says, I'm a realtor with Keller Williams. To be clear, I'm not trying to solicit your home. There's a limited number of listings in your area. We're trying to exhaust all the ways that we can, and I'll have the broker email this slide back to you, so you have all these. We're trying to exhaust all the ways that we can find the perfect home for this awesome family. We've looked everywhere, and we're hoping that maybe you consider selling. We're happy to share the sold information too and help you to find your new home. So something like that, I would recommend handwriting this rather than printing it. If you print it, it might look like spam. Another example of that looks like this. I'm not going to read it to you, but your broker can send it out to you so you have a copy of it. These are letters that we have found a lot of success with. This is a Yikes campaign. Yikes, yikes. Your neighbor at ABC Apple Street just went under contract, and my buyer, James, missed out. So we're looking, James is looking for something similar in his favorite community. If you're thinking of selling, call me. James is ready to purchase right now. If he's a cash buyer, we can close in 15 days, or if he's a conventional loan, we can close in 30 days, or we can take our time and work around your schedule. This is what we're interested in. By the way, if you're thinking about selling, consider these things.
Paige, how do you track all this?
So we use a Google Doc. So we track everything. We track how many calls we made, where we made those calls, when we did slide aisle, what time they went out. Sometimes if you do it during the morning, you're not going to get as good of a response as if you do it in the afternoon. But if you do it in the morning, you'll get a nicer response than if you do it after work. So less people nicer, more people mostly angry. Our letters too, we track what letter went out on what day. And then when we get the call, we ask them, what letter did you receive that made you want to call us? It's a Google Doc to answer your question. Every single neighborhood that we farm to is tabbed and has their own chart.
Do what?
Every neighborhood that we farm has their own chart. So we're farming each individual neighborhood and tracking those responses. If we find that we're farming this neighborhood for 6 months, we haven't gotten a single call, and we've sent out 600 calls, and we've sent out 600 letters, we're ditching it. We're moving on. Yeah. The 3 Ps of real estate, I use this in every single listing transaction that I go on, every listing appointment. I say I'm not going to do the 3 Ps of real estate, but most agents are. The 3 Ps of real estate is you're going to place the sign in the yard, you're going to put it in the MLS, you're going to pray to God it sells. So what are we going to do that extends past the 3 Ps of real estate? We're going to do a staging consultation, professional photography. We're not going to go out there with our iPhone. We're going to do virtual staging if the house is empty and they don't want to have it professionally staged. Because we know that virtually staged homes are going to sell for more. They're going to sell much quicker than homes that aren't staged at all. We're going to do creative listing photos when needed. And we'll talk about a listing that I had that went viral. We're going to do infographics, which is pretty cool. I'll show you what that looks like. Open houses, but a mega open house. How are we going to take the normal open house where you bring sale cookies and elevate that to something that people want to attend and get a great turnout? Marketing to the neighbors, mailers, calling the community, flyers, upgrades, and love letters. Before I move on, questions on anything we've covered so far?
Is there a program you use for virtual staging?
Yeah, boxbrownie.com. There are a lot out there, and if y'all are on Instagram, there's an account called Zillow Gone Wild that I encourage you to follow, where it's bad staging and horrible photos. Yeah, you don't want to be on there. Okay, so creative marketing. Oh my gosh, my client is horrible. We were on the market. I told him your condo's worth $225. He's like, it's worth $250. I'm like, bro, your condo's worth $225. He's like, it's $250. Look at it. It's beautiful. I'm like, but this is wood floors. I'm like, dude, it's parquet flooring. This is awful. We need to lay something on top of it, like a laminate. So like, you cover up the wood. I'm like, they cover up the parquet. Yeah. So I brought in a stager. I brought in a contractor to quote everything out to show him. So it cost $3,500 to paint your ugly cabinets white, which is what the buyers want. To get rid of this parquet flooring, to paint your walls, which are all like mismatched, and to get your home ready for market. You're going to net $10,000 more. So if you're netting $7,500, you're net positive. Doesn't that sound great? It's like, sounds terrible. Cover up my wood floors. I'm like, okay. So he talked to everyone. He goes, $250. I'm like, okay, I will list this at $250, but we have to agree that we're going to drop the price to $225 in 4 weeks if this doesn't sell. 4 weeks comes, I'm like, all right, we've had 100 showings. We've had no offers. We've got this many showings online. We've gotten this feedback that people don't like parquet floors. We've gotten feedback about the paint as well as the lighting and these are the food systems. So do you want to renovate, leave the price where it's at, or do you want to drop the price to $225 like we discussed? He's like, no, it's worth $225, leave it. Okay, so I brought in my stager and we staged it. And I was like, just pay me back after we hit the closing table. And if we don't hit the closing table, then I was wrong. And actually you didn't need to stage it. And I'll just take the hit. And we did some light staging. We were getting better feedback, but the feedback was it still wasn't worth this $250 number. And we're getting offers in at $225. And he's trying to tell me it's worth more, and I'm trying to tell him the market saying it isn't. So we did some new photos, and then I ended up doing an elf on the shelf photo shoot. So I had elf on the shelf doing something mischievous on every single photo because it was December. And when you first look, he's like coming in the front door, and then he's shaving his face in the bathroom, and then he's like cooking Skittles in the kitchen. And so this listing, I posted it on Reddit because that's where you post things if you want to go viral. And this thing went, it blew up. And my Zillow went from a couple hundred viewings a day to several thousand a day. And I was able to show him, all right, anybody that wants this property knows it's out there. We're not getting offers at $250 because it's not worth $250. You're getting 10,000 showings a day on Zillow. And your listing photos, it should be like an online dating process. Your listing photos suck and people don't want to go on a date with you. So how do we make this better? We need the paint. And so he's like, all right, you'll see we have white cabinets now. And we ended up selling for what he wanted to achieve after we went through that. So sometimes you have to be really creative. Virtual staging is great too. It'll take your listing from bland to not bland. People will walk in and they'll see how they can arrange the furniture in a room. I will usually frame it and nail it to the wall. So if people want to see what it looks like when they walk in the house, it's not just online on Zillow, but they can very clearly see, okay, if I put the furniture here, it'll look really nice. Infographics, these are from listreports.com. You can put in your address and it'll say your neighborhood has great restaurants around it. It's got awesome outdoor parks. There's really convenient stuff nearby like gas station or dry cleaners. It's free. So this is usually the last 5 slides of my photos. So when you're flipping through, if you're not the kind of person that reads the report that sees that you've got all this cool stuff around you, you can see a picture of it. They have schools too, but the schools are like a 2. I'm not going to include that infographic. And then the power of handwritten letters. So we got KW stationery and just a 3x5 card, and we write for active listings. Hi neighbor, I'm so excited to share ABC Apple Street just hit the market. Who do you know that's looking to buy? Now's your chance to choose your neighbors. Please share my contact information with them so I can schedule a private showing. And then my business card. And then once we go under contract, everyone in the neighborhood gets, hi neighbor, great news. The house at ABC Apple Street just went under contract in 6 days with multiple offers. Many buyers are still looking in the area. Have you considered selling or know someone that is? Now's a good time. Business card. Sold. Hi, I'm so excited to share ABC Apple Street just sold for whatever the price was. My team has a proven track record of success. We take great pride in providing a luxury experience while exceeding expectations. If you've considered selling, I'd love the opportunity to earn a business. It doesn't stop there. I will send a Yelp campaign. I will send 2 qualified buyer letters for the Smith family, whether they're real or they're not. I'm going to send 2 more letters following up. I'm going to slide aisle, and I'm going to circle dial too. I'm going to do it for about 2 months after a sale.
Wine Wagon hire out for handwritten letters.
Oh yeah. 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 And then she back seals everything. Okay. When you first walk in the house, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, every single buyer that I work with, when they are in a property, they put together a story. Like, oh, this person's selling because it's a divorce. There's only men's clothes in the closet. Like, this is a bachelor pad. Look around. It's very clearly a bachelor pad. I don't think it's a divorce. I'm like, no, it is. It's a divorce. Okay. So to create the narrative, I will have my sellers write a love letter and frame it. So when they first walk in the door, they're telling the buyers, I love this house. Thanks for stopping by. I hate that I'm selling it, but I'm a bachelor and I'm getting married. And here's some things that we love about the house. Here's some things we love about the neighborhood. I send all of my clients a copy of a letter that's been successful so that they can kind of use it as a template for things that they want to maybe put. And then next to that, I'll have bowl candy and a list of upgrades in the home. And then if they don't have any upgrades, I will make them up. I'll be like, look at this beautiful gleaming hardwood, even though it's parquet, it's hardwood. Tons of natural window light, things like that. Something that that person can walk away with, the buyer, and say, wow, this is a special house. It does have a lot of upgrades. I want to make this my home. Throughout the listing as well, I'll have silent sellers to the property. There are little signs that I laminate that say, check out the awesome window light, check out, we're in a cul-de-sac lot, whatever it may be, that maybe the listing agent, or I'm sorry, the buyer's agent, especially if they're very green, maybe they haven't sold a lot of homes before, maybe they're the kind of person that stands in the kitchen, they text on their phone the whole time when their buyers are rampant. If they're that person, you want that buyer to still be able to point out certain things that maybe they wouldn't know is not right. Like if you've got a waterfall and a countertop, I'm definitely gonna put that in. Any questions on marketing to sellers? Marketing to buyers. So when I'm marketing to buyers, one of the things that I can do to get buyers is mega open house. And if I'm doing an open house for someone, I'm going to tell all the neighbors first, because the neighbors are the best advocates for the community, because I already live there. So if my open house is 2 to 4, I'm going to invite the neighbors over at 1:30, because they're going to show up at 2. And I want the open house to be packed full of people before buyers get there. And that way they can walk through the house, they can see, oh, they upgraded their kitchen that way, and they did this and that, and they decorated the room that way. But the buyers that are coming in don't know that they're not real buyers, don't know that they're neighbors, and they see, oh my God, there's definitely a demand for this house. I think I want it too. So to get those people in the door, I'm going to do a handwritten letter, an invitation inviting them to the open house. I'm going to door knock the immediate 20 homes. Okay, just wanted to let you know in case you didn't get my handwritten letter and my slide dial that I sent out my voicemail that we've got an open house going on. I'd love it if you could drop by. And then also I'm going to mass text using that reach text app that I told you guys about. And then once I get those people through, when the new buyers come in, I'm going to have everyone sign in. So everyone's going to, there's going to be a sign on the door that says seller requires all buyers must sign in for security purposes. So it's not upsetting when people walk in the door and I hand them something to sign in on, because no one wants to give out their information. But if you tell them before they walk in the door, if you come in, you have to give us your information, then they expect it. So I hand them my iPad with that open house app that I told you about. They're going to sign in, and then also I'm going to add them to a email that I send out afterwards. Hey, by the way, these are the disclosures. This is the flyer for the house. What'd you think? I'm going to also reach text them later. Thank you so much for dropping by my open house. If this wasn't the one for you, I can help you find the one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I can help out. Let's see. Renters. So I have a friend pays $3,800 a month in rent. And for $3,800, that is the equivalent of an $850,000 house. So she's in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But did you know that you can buy an $850,000 house? This is what this looks like. So sometimes marketing to renters and telling them this will be the down payment. This is what it would look like if you purchase. So finding a luxury apartment complex, maybe not one like that, but maybe one that's got $1,200 or $1,500 a month in rent. That's the equivalent of like a $250,000, $300,000 house. The difference is going to be bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage. It's incredible. I would absolutely recommend reaching out to renters. If they're not buying today, some of my best referral resources are people that I've helped rent homes that nobody else wanted to help because they were a renter. And now everyone that wants to buy them is in their friend circle knows they need to help Paige.
Yeah, someone wanted to do this. Do you have a way that worked well for getting renters' contact information if they're not in like the tax records?
So no, we will go, I'll send somebody into the community to like tour it.
Okay.
And then we'll find out the numbers. So if it's like 2 floors, 3 floors, is it like 1301, 1302? How much does that go up to? And then we hand address it that way.
Just your resident and then the like unit number.
We don't put a name. We don't put
Okay.
resident, homeowner, anything like that. There's no name, but it's wax sealed, so they're gonna open it. Yeah, they were trying to dress on a wax seal. This is fishy what's going on. And they open it and they're like, oh, real estate.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, just sending someone in. Sometimes you have to send them in to tour it because they'll have guidelines where you can just like walk through and write it. So steer for your referrals. Sometimes just asking, like, hey, who has a buyer? Or we did one where we said, hey, we're doing a contest in my office to see who can close the most units this month. I won the last 2 years in a row. It's a make-believe contest. That's all right. I won the last 2 years in a row. And I would love to keep the streak going. Do you know of anyone that's looking to buy that might be able to help me win the contest for the 3rd year? And then I send it out to everyone very clearly, like this reach flex thing, because I sign it, each face. And then I follow up a week later. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm in the lead. I'm in 2nd place. I'd love to be in 1st. Who do you know? And then some of those people that didn't text me the 1st time will text me the 2nd time. And then on the 3rd one, I say, thank you guys so much. I won. Or we'll do a contest. Like for anyone that sends me, who have you heard that's looking to buy real estate this year? We're gifting out AirPods. So if you hear something, we want to give you AirPods. There are other resources that you can use, like realtor.com, that'll give you these. So you have to buy them. Zillow will take 35% of your transaction. So if you need it, it's out there, but it's not always the best. So open houses, mega open houses like we talked about, we're gonna door knock to the neighborhoods, we're gonna make sure that our directionals go out on Friday. We're gonna have balloons on all of them, we're gonna slide aisle, we're gonna do Facebook ads, we're gonna mail invitations, we're gonna do, if you go on Amazon, you can literally purchase a giant banner that says open house. Everyone knows you have an open house if you have a giant banner that says open house. Prep for condos. If it's a condo and there's a door that's locked, buy a door stopper so that people aren't calling you, and make sure that your sign with your contact information is at the front of the condo. So even if you lean it against the side, you pick it up after your open house, so people do need to call you because someone took that door stopper out, they can get a hold of you. Because it sucks to be in a condo and no one came to your open house because they couldn't get in. We do a chalkboard sign for the front door too. The chalkboard sign is really cute. Welcome to our open house, and it's got our contact information on it. Sometimes I'll do a food truck. So if I've got an incredible house that's $250, it's right in front of the neighborhood, it's by the pool, and it's summertime, I'm gonna call my lender and be like, hey, buy me this food truck. My lender will be like, I'll split it with you, 50-50. And so he'll come out to the open house, which is great because he can pre-approve people on the spot. And then neighbors that are coming by, I'll put my chalkboard next to it, courtesy of Paige and Ben Thornton Capital Mortgage Solutions, and enjoy a taco or enjoy Waffle House has food trucks. So if it's morning time, we'll do like a Waffle House food truck. And that's a great way to get additional buyers and sellers that we normally wouldn't have. And people aren't eating in my open house, which is great because I don't want food or crumbs. I don't want to be that agent that gets a call and they're like, there are crumbs and ants everywhere. So in my open house, those wine bottles that I told you about, everyone that comes to my open house gets a full bottle of wine. We've gotten so much business off this like stupid $3 check. It's so bad, like cook with it. But I get so much business off it. It's like, oh, an entire bottle of wine. I'm like, yeah, don't open it here. I've enjoyed it all. Starbucks gift cards for people after they've come to our open house, but really felt like they were somebody that was a good lead. There's an app called Forewarn, which is fantastic. It looks like a gray and red shield. And you can type in a phone number and it'll tell you all of their previous addresses, their criminal history.
We have started.
Okay, it's awesome. You can put that in and find out their address. If they ask you like, how'd you get my address? You're like, I'm a realtor, it's my job.
So just so you know, our MLS told us we're not allowed to do that.
We can't use it for
Prospect. Are you serious? Oh.
I thought you
But
How do they prove that?
No, you can't prospect off of
What are
there.
we supposed to use it for? I've never used it.
Criminal.
Safety,
Safety,
security.
Mini background check app is there.
We should
Yeah.
use those as well, that's important.
But
You're not allowed to look up celebrities either. I don't know. She got a letter that was like, don't do this again.
Dang, I should see what I want.
I was like, no, where are you looking at?
I'll be speaking the street. She lives in Birmingham, so I'm gonna see where she lives.
Oh. How did they know you looked around? She just put it in and they knew it, and they sent her an email
So if I
saying.
did it again, I would get my.
privilege is taken.
Ooh. Popcorn. I don't know. Thanks for popping by. All right, so that's what my wine looks like. This is what my popcorn unicorn looks like. This isn't Old Wilkers anymore. I see with them. Now it says Keller Williams. I do dog treats too. So some people bring their dogs to the stuff. Some people just have dogs waiting for them in the car. Need a realtor? Treat your puppy to a bigger backyard. So cute. All right. Budget for your marketing. So stopping advertising to save money is like stopping your watch to save time. And I say that because everything moving forward is costly. We're out of sweat equity and we're into stamp equity. So how do we provide a luxury experience at every price point? We're going to talk about contract to close, creating a memorable experience. So as a realtor, you can get a business account with Tiffany's, which means you get, I think it's 15% off as long as it doesn't have gold or diamonds. So if you're buying yourself a bracelet, you get 15% off. If you are buying your clients a pair of wine glasses, it's $75 retail, like 15 retail or something like that. At closing, it's really impressive to bring a giant blue bag. And outshine the Asian across from you that might got a really expensive, very beautiful rendering of a watercolor of their house. You show up with a giant blue bag with like $50 wine glasses and like, oh my God, Tiffany's. And we will do a bow on the front door. So after you close, when you go to your house for the first time, they're going to show up and there's going to be a bow on the front door. That's usually the picture that you see my clients will post on Instagram is them in front of the house with them. When they walk into the house, it's empty, except for the bouquet of flowers that I picked up for $20 at Publix that's sitting on the kitchen counter. Next to a card that says, thank you so much for the opportunity to earn your business. I truly appreciate it and make beautiful memories in the house. A year after they purchase their house, the day they close, I write a letter and I put it in a basket with a Post-it note on the front with the address that needs to go out the following year. I've got this revolving system of letters. It's a home anniversary card. I bought it on Etsy. There's a pack of them. The back of them is custom with my contact information. I'm never too busy for your referrals. But the front of it says happy home anniversary. And then the inside, whatever you want to write. So a year from then, usually I don't even know who I'm sending these to because it's just like, oh, it's July. And then I'll get a text from Thomas Bogan. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much for the thoughtful card. Or about a year ago. Thank you card. This is something similar that I found to this Thanks a Lot cards from Target for a Zillow review. Thank you so much for taking the time to write a Zillow review for me. I appreciate it. $5 Starbucks gift card. Tips Treats. Once you go under contract, we've been using a cookie system. It's called Tips Treats. I have an elite membership, which is like $50 a year, and it's free delivery. That's what that means. And then they'll give me coupons throughout the year for free cookies. I send a dozen warm cookies to somebody's house the day that we end due diligence. So once we're out of due diligence, they get cookies. As soon as I meet them, I give them my buyer presentation book. And then when I go home, I send them a KW card. Thanks for the opportunity to earn the business. So at the beginning of the transaction, they got a buyer presentation book. We went through it. I mailed them a card that was wax sealed. We went under contract, they got cookies. Then we got to closing, we got a Tiffany's bag. When they showed up to their new house, there's a giant bow on the front door, and they walked in, there's a bouquet of flowers. A year later, they got a home anniversary card. So keeping in touch with past clients, newsletters. I use Marist Inc. I don't know if you've heard of her. She was in Georgia, and now she lives in Nashville. She's fantastic. She puts together newsletters for me. I don't do it. It's got a cute personal letter in it. I'm always shocked at what it says. Looks like it was written from me. It's fantastic. There's mass text. I keep everything in Apple Notes. So my marketing schedule, everything is in Apple Notes. Who I'm going to see, my CMA, literally. When I say everything is in Apple Notes, it's all there. So what I'm going to do for marketing this month, for example, those 4th of July texts that went out, reach out. Command does something similar where you can mass text people. The challenge is with Command, though it's free, if somebody tries to call that number, it's not your phone number. So they're going to get like a weird dial tone thing. Command has email blasts, which are great. MailChimp does too, but you have to pay for it. Client care calls that 2 times a year I'm going to go through, just like Bull teaches us, like A through N, N through Z. Call, hey, how's it going? I just want to check in on you. And then I'm going to do birthday blasts. So if I can find out what their birthday is, which I'll know from asking them for their license at the beginning of the contract, then I'll get a copy of their license. If they don't want to give it to me, their lender has it. And then a holiday seasonal card or gift, Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm going to try to connect with them on those platforms. I'm going to post regularly on there. There are apps that will post for you on those as well. Canva is a great app that you can create content and it'll post it for you. Pop by gifts, and I'm going to make sure that every single person that's in my database I've touched at least 36 times a year. My database, I keep two. I keep everyone, and I keep my top 150. My top 150 are going to get pop by gifts, and everyone else is going to get, I don't know, newsletter. Okay. So for my pop by gift, every St. Patrick's Day, yeah, that's the Irish. Every St. Patrick's Day, wishing you a lot of luck this St. Patrick's Day, and a lotto scratcher. Is she just like $1 for a lotto scratcher, 50 cents for a stamp?
We don't have lotto.
Oh my God, okay. Well, not that one. Oh, that's fun. How do you know the lottery?
They won't have it. We're in the backwoods.
Our schools don't have enough then.
Okay, so I guess like the replacement of that would be
We did it.
like, yeah.
We did chocolate.
Yeah. I wonder if you could do like a raffle where you not raffle tickets, then you go on Zoom and you do some sort of like live raffle. Or if there's some way that you don't do live raffle and then like everyone wins and you're like, oh, send me in your picture when you get this card, and then everybody gets a gift because they were all the winner.
Maybe it's broker, y'all want to run that by me first.
Yeah. They got that one. Whiskey business, real estate could be whiskey business. Leave to my old partner David Paige to sweeten your deal. We did client appreciation night, or we did whiskey tasting. We did Cinco de Mayo. I partner with a Mexican restaurant for free quesadilla, and I sent everyone quesadilla on Cinco de Mayo. Just popping by to butter you up. So, sometimes I'll stop by people's office or I'll cater a lunch for them. I'll say, hey, chicken salad chick, I want to offer it to everyone in your office because we just had a great transaction. I really appreciate you. And like they're a first time buyer generation, and I think that if I have a lot of people that want to buy, then I'll cater a lunch to them. And I'll usually pop by with popcorn and I'll ask them for their referral very blatantly. And then chalk. So sometimes if I'm doing a mega open house, like I mentioned, if I've got a food truck, I'm trying to keep everyone in my front yard because that generates more business for me. We hope your fall is chocked full of fun, and it's just a bag of some chocolate for the kids to play out front. Every September, I gift everyone in my sphere a photo shoot. So I partner with a photographer. Her photo shoots are usually about $200 to $300 a photo shoot. And I said, hey, Vanya, I'm really good friends with you. And I want to give this to like 300 people. And I want to do it at a discount. So only the people that redeem it, let me know who it is. If they are indeed one of my past clients that I sent this to, once the photos are done, I'll then make $50. And then you can leverage that person and be their family portrait photographer for birthdays, for holidays, for events, for whatever it is. And she's like, oh, of course I would do that. But we put stipulations on it. We set the expectation from the front. It's going to be 1 hour shooting, one outfit, one location of your choice, and 5 edited photos to be delivered by email. But the front of it says, do you need photos for your holiday cards, new business headshot, pictures for your dog's Instagram page, or updated photos for your dating profile, maybe anything else? Enjoy this free photo shoot with Vanya at Photo Studios. Redeem your photo shoot is easy. Simply contact Vanya on the number below. I made everything on Canva. This took me 5 minutes to put together. Any questions on anything we've been over so far? Okay. Gift pop buys. I did mimosa boxes. So for Mother's Day one year, I don't do all of this in a year, but I pick out what I want to do. I usually do 2 pop buys a year. One year I did mimosa boxes. Everyone got a tiny orange juice and a tiny champagne bottle. I did not everyone's a mom, so if you have a cat, I had 3 versions. For a cool cat mom, cool dog mom, and a cool mom. It had a wine flute, a bottle of champagne that I got from Costco, and a tiny orange juice. Father's Day, enjoy a break from your daily grind and have a coffee on me. To a dad who's strong, bold, and not your average Joe. Starbucks gift card inside of a Starbucks cup. My fall pop buys, I got everything from Hobby Lobby, 50% off. And it was like a little succulent, a candy dish, some candy, a tiny pumpkin, and a little People love those little signs that they mark the days. So we found a bunch of those. And it says, I'm thankful for your business. And those were really successful, like surprisingly successful for what it was. We leave them on the front doorstep, we take a picture of it, and we send it to the client. And we say, hey, we just want to let you know we left a small gift on your front door. Thanks so much for being about your client. Only top 150. Yeah, only top 150. Because if I spend $10 per box or $10 per thing or $20 per thing, it'll usually generate 1 to 2 leads. That's going to lead to like $10,000 or $20,000 in business. That one deal covers the cost of the Popeyes. Mums. So this year we're doing this one on the end for spring, or I guess summer now, for thank you so much for helping my business bloom. We've done it in the past for Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for the referral of your friends, family, business associates. We'll do mums or flower Popeye. You can buy the stakes that go in the flowers on Amazon. And then I hire someone to drop these off for me. Usually if I'm in the back of an Uber, my Uber driver is great. I'm like, hey, you want to drive some flowers around? And they're like, what? I'm like, do you want to, can I give you like a couple $100 for the day to just go drive flowers and drop them off? They're like, yeah, absolutely. They're going to make more with me than they would with Uber. They can listen to whatever music they want, and they'll send me pictures when it's done, so I know it was done correctly. For clients appreciation events, I've done yoga events for my first time home buyers. For all of my client appreciation events, I hire a photographer, Vanya, the girl I mentioned before. She comes out, she photographs everything for me, and it's a good way for me to push that to social media, push it to my clients too, as a thank you so much for coming to my event. And then also this is a copy of my invitation. So when I'm doing these events, if I can get somebody to cater it for me and have it paid by a vendor, or have a vendor that'll do gifts. So for example, sponsored Visa gift cards, or sponsor, we've done Yeti mugs before that are great. Most lenders will want to partner with you on something like that because it has their name on it too. So I'll have a lender that'll sponsor these client appreciation events with me alongside an attorney. Anyone that I use, handyman, I've got a handyman I love, Vanya, my photographer, I don't pay her for this, she does it for free, because I'm giving her $50 for all those other photo shoots, right? So how can I do a really cool event for next to nothing? Cooking classes. So we've done cooking classes at Sola Table. And what we did last year with COVID was around the world in 3 rosés. So this was my best one. I hired an event planner for this one to help put it together, but I did all the marketing for it. I created the marketing in a couple minutes on Canva. This was 6 of my touches. I sent out a text, so I did a call first, inviting them to come. Then I sent out a text, thank you so much, can't wait to see you there. And then I mailed out an invitation, you're invited. Then I did a thank you card afterwards. I sent out a text right before, hey, pack your bags, we take off in 5 minutes. Here's the Zoom link again, just a reminder to hop on. I invite, with the wine, I invited everyone to invite their friends and neighbors over to enjoy all the wine together, because it's 3 bottles of wine. So you're not gonna be able to drink it all by yourself. If you have friends, family, neighbors that wanna come, have them come over, enjoy the wine together. And then we recorded the Zoom and I sent it to my videographer, and we took an hour-long Zoom video and turned it into a promotional 1-minute video. I had, because it was the event planner, I had him do it with a sommelier for the wine tasting, and then we had the vineyard owners on the call. I talked for 5 minutes max. I'm like, hey, thanks for being here. And that's all this says, like the highlights. And then they did like really cute, quirky things through the rest of the hour. It was awesome. This year we're doing Disney Plus. So we're gifting everyone a year of Disney Plus. The wine was like $100 a person, so that was really expensive. This time we're cutting it in half. People are either getting flowers with that flower pot buy, or if they're really awesome and they send me a ton of business, you can buy somebody a year of Disney Plus, $80 a person. Not everyone's going to redeem it. People already have Disney Plus, but it's a top account. You're going to get the bonus brownie points for it. And they get a card that looks like this in the mail. They're going to text me when they want it, and I'm going to set up the account for them. In a year, when Disney Plus runs out, and they're like, oh, I have to buy this subscription again, then they'll remember me. And every time they log in, they'll remember me and they'll think of me. So what can I do that's going to provide that lasting impression? And then community events. So if I don't have enough people that I can reach out to in a sphere for pop buys, or maybe I don't have the people that I want to do a big event for, I only have 5 or 6 people in my sphere, a good way to spread your name is through charitable events. So we've been doing food drives to entire neighborhoods. We'll go to Publix, we'll ask for 200 paper bags. And they'll say, oh, what's that for? And they're like, well, I'm running a food drive, and we're actually encouraging people to stop by Publix and pick up some groceries to donate. Do you mind if we do this? We're doing it for ABC Apple Street neighborhood. And we're like, oh, of course, we would love that. So I take all those brown paper bags, I staple this to it, and it basically says, hey, we're doing a food drive. This is who I am. This is the food pantry the food's going to. And I'm going to be by to pick it up this time. Just leave it up right at your door. And then afterwards, I'm going to mail them an invitation before. I'm going to slide aisle the whole neighborhood. Then I'm going to send a thank you card afterwards. And I'm going to start farming the neighborhood with the Yikes campaign, with qualified buyer letter. They know who I am, and they think I'm a charitable, nice, kind person. They want to work with you. So at one of the luxury apartment complexes, I had a friend that lived in one of them that was paying all that rent, and I rented out the clubhouse for $500. Well, technically, she rents out the clubhouse. We did a a photo shoot event for headshots. So you could come and get a free headshot for your LinkedIn, for your business card, for whatever you needed a headshot for. And I'll give you some information about the home buying process. I had my lender there who catered chicken salad chicken for go-to. So we had our lender there catering chicken salad chicken. People wanted to stop by and grab food. We had the giant chalkboard out front, so people walked by and they're like, what's going on in here? I invited a lot of my friends, so it looked like there were already people there, so people wanted to go where other people were. And we had a great turnout. I ended up doing 2 buyer consultations on the spot and getting their business. The lease was coming up and they wanted to renew, but they weren't really sure if that was the right move. I showed them the mortgage calculator app, and they realized that they could really get a lot of house for what they were paying, and they ended up moving forward with purchasing.
Which app do you use?
For mortgage calculator, Redmond. What is it? Redmond. Yeah. I know, so Kelly Williams, but Redmond's really great. And then we're running a little over on time, but I'm almost done. Video marketing. I hired a videographer to do a bunch of videos for me. And we post them on YouTube, and we pull the YouTube link, and we post it on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we shoot it out in our newsletter. And we try to use our videos everywhere. One of my videos is basically a short bio. It's 30 seconds long. It says, hi, I'm Paige Case. This is how I run my business. This is what I do. This is where I'm from. Some information about Atlanta. 30 seconds. That goes to everyone. I've got it saved on my phone in the little favorites thing on the iPhone. As soon as I get a new buyer client or a new seller client, before I even meet them, when I jump off the phone, I send them this video. Everyone gets it. It's on my website too. So when you go to my website, it's the first thing there. I would highly recommend, if you're going to do video marketing, hiring someone to do that for you, or doing grassroots and doing it yourself. But I wouldn't mix the two. I'd be really consistent in the way you're doing your video marketing. So if you meet a client and you want to do a quick video for them, hey, it was great meeting you today. Thanks so much for your time. Can't wait to help. That's awesome. People are going to open videos more than they're going to read a long text message or read a lot of information. So on our email blast, that's been really successful. We send it out, like I said, text message, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We'll do client testimonials. I had a great client. They're like, oh my God, what can I do to help you? You were so amazing. And I'm like, oh, let's put you in front of the camera. So you're so cute. You've got a dog. Bring your puppy. It'll be like B-roll of her playing with her dog, and then her sitting on the sofa like Paige was amazing. People are gonna read that better than they're gonna read you to your own horn. So I would recommend doing 1 or 2 client testimonial videos, doing a bio, maybe doing one about the market, how real estate's going, some tips. And if you really want to go and do video, you can do a whole series. I do all of my video for the entire year every December. So it's done. Here's a screenshot of that one, and then resources, everything that we discussed. So Canva is the website that I utilize to make this presentation, that we use to make our buyer seller books, that we use to make all of our logos, all of our designs, everything like that. Box Brownie, that's the virtual staging. Marist Inc. She runs all of my newsletters as well as she designed my logo. Emoto Photo is who I use for professional photography. Sales QL is going to be who is pulling the back end emails on LinkedIn. So if your Doctors Atlanta, connect, that's the resource for that. Similarly, Cloud HQ will pull all of the emails in your inbox. So anyone that you've recently emailed. Slide Broadcast sends out those voicemails. Mojo is my circle dialer. List reports, so those infographics. LinkedIn, Command, Reach, we've talked about. I would find a great printing press. I would recommend utilizing Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. Hootsuite is that resource that's going to post on Instagram for you on a scheduler. Denver Bailey is my videographer in case you want someone. He'll drive to you and do it. And Cole Realty is where we pull some of the circle prospecting phone numbers. All right. Any questions?
Here's, like, you said you have on your back end of your MLS doing your comps that are more accurate than the low. So are you just doing like a neighborhood, like pure neighborhood setup, like active, pending, sold
For the past
in the neighborhood, 180 days, that's it.
If there aren't any in 180 days, a whole year, if there aren't any for that, then I do, run it to mile radius.
What is, I tried looking for the open house app. What does the icon look like? That way you don't get the wrong one.
It's blue and it has white letters that say open house. And it's got 3 little houses on the bottom. If you can find it, I'll sit with you. We'll look.
Yeah, there's a few different ones, but I'm not really sure which one it's supposed to be.
Ooh, I'll show you. I'll show you. Any other questions? Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your time. Everyone knows to turn it off. This is that red stop there. The bottom one I got. Thanks.